A little background information. I was 21 and a junior in college, but back whenever I was in high school, I had a really hard time making friends, mainly because my family and I were always moving from state to state because of my mom's job. So after I graduated high school, I was super nervous about going to college because I really thought that I was going to have the same exact issues that I had whenever I was in high school, because I did not have the social skills for that shit either. And this actually made me not want to go to college at all, because listen to this, not only would I not have any friends, but my family would still be traveling all over the country, so I wouldn't have them here with me, so I pretty much wouldn't have anybody. But my mom told me I was going to college. So we went and toured a few of the colleges that we were living near at the time. And I ended up picking this one school that was literally amazing. It was like one of those colleges that you see in the movies. The campus was huge. It was literally right near the beach. And as soon as classes started, I met 3 of my closest friends, Josh, Julia, and Cynthia. And we were all like a little friend group clique thing. Like, we had our friends outside of our friend group, and then it was us 4 who were actually best friends. But all of them actually knew a bunch of people, which I thought was really weird because they were all coming in as freshmen just like I was. So how the fuck did they know this many people? But I found out that they all actually have lived like 20 minutes away from this campus their whole lives. And I guess that their senior year of high school, a lot of the kids that had went to their high school were now going to this college, so they would just go up there with their high school friends and party with all the college kids too, which is actually really smart if you think about it. Anyways, I had a lot of the same classes as Julia and Josh, and none of us actually had any classes with Cynthia, but she was Julia and I's roommate. And we all got an apartment together this year, and we were paying $800 a month each. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and the $800 covered pretty much everything, like groceries, internet, water, and whatever other utilities there are, which was not bad at all considering I was literally a really broke college student. Like, during the summertime I was able to make bank, but during school I could only have one job if I wanted to focus on my schooling. So during the year it was quite a struggle because, oh yeah, I think I forgot to mention, I also didn't have any help from my family, which I'm not saying that they should help me, but I haven't heard from them since they dropped me off at college. Like, they literally left a week after I started, and they paid for it like full and everything, like full ride to college. But yeah, I just haven't heard from them ever since. So they could be dead, or they just could not want anything to do with me. But you know what, period, life goes on, right? Right. So Josh lived in the same building and on the same floor and literally 3 doors down from us. Like, to be honest, I literally loved our little clique that we had. You know, like, after we were all done class, we would go to either of our apartments and we would either play games, study, or get drunk. Usually we chose option number 3, but it was also like we were in like a little neighborhood, you know? Anyway, so every Saturday we had a very strict routine that we would follow, which pretty much consisted of waking up, going and getting breakfast, going to the gym, pre-gaming until it was time to pre-game some more at the tailgate, and then we would all try to make it to the game. And yes, I said try, because more times than not, there was at least one of us, if not all of us, who wouldn't make it to the games because either one of us got too fucked up and was laying in a puddle of our own puke. There was one time where Cynthia was walking on the highway trying to get home, didn't ask anybody for a ride, or 3, they could get lost. Like Josh literally fell asleep in the woods because he went to go and smoke. Yeah. So, you know, these were always super eventful for us. Now, when this would happen, obviously the other 3 of us would get super fucking annoyed because of course we were gonna look after each other. We weren't just gonna leave them. So, you know, we would have to take whoever got too drunk back home and try to make it back for the game, which almost never happened. But on the days where we all did end up making it to the games, after it was over, we would usually go back to our apartment building and go to one of the parties that someone would be throwing there, because my apartment building was filled with literally all college students, and it was pretty much also the spot for college parties. Like, there was literally one floor that was all guys who love to drink and smoke and throw huge parties. To be honest, you would actually think that they dropped out of college because of how much they party, but that's besides the point. So, you know, on one of these very fine evenings, I may have had a little bit too much to drink. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. Only because I was forced to do Edward 40 hands, okay? And then take 3 shots of tequila after. And if you don't know what Edward 40 hands are, it's literally, it's where you have these 2 brands of beers in your hand, they're taped to your hands, and you have to drink. Anyways, okay, maybe I was not forced, but technically, I feel like I was, because if you don't do it, then you look like a pussy. What do you think? I'm gonna stand there and look like a pussy? Peer pressure at its finest. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna call it forced. Well, anyways, it was not the best idea because I blacked out and had no clue what happened the rest of that night. I guess the good news was I did not have to go to the hospital for alcohol poisoning. That's like #1 best thing right there, because I wasn't even sure if I had health insurance, to be honest. But there was like this one guy at the party, right, who was either an EMT or he was an EMT in training, some BS like that, okay? And from what everybody tells me, this man apparently saved my life. Apparently he drove my friends and I back to my apartment because somehow I managed to end up 20 minutes away from our apartment. Weird, but not out of the usual. That's bad. So anyways, you know, he goes into the apartment with my friends and he sets me up with some water and some other things that'll help me. And I guess before he left, he had asked one of my roommates for my phone number. And like I said, I have no recollection of anything that happened the night before, or actually after the first fucking tequila shot that I took. Everything gone out the window after that. So I'm over here not knowing if this guy's like ugly or not, and I know you guys are probably thinking, okay, why does that matter when this guy literally apparently saved your life? Well, first of all, let me just tell you this. If this man does call me and I don't know what the hell he looks like, and he asks to meet up with me, and say I'm expecting to see someone who is very attractive because, you know, his voice, he like catfished me with his voice or something, I'm going to be extremely upset, okay? Now I know you guys are also probably thinking, well, couldn't you just ask your friends if he was good looking? No, because they had very, very, very questionable taste, okay? Like, for example, Cynthia, oh my god, Cynthia dated a man who wore skirts 24/7, and I'm not talking a jean skirt, no, this kind of skirt. And it was like a weird length one, because it was literally one of those ones that went right above the ankle, like low-key near the middle of the shin, but didn't exactly meet the whatever the fuck it was supposed to be. Not only that, but he would wear some Jesus sandals with a bandana and a sweater with holes in it that he put in himself. And not to mention, he would literally wear that fucking skirt every single day, because he did not have another one that was like that one. Yep. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the long version of why I will never ever 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 ask my friends if someone was good looking or not. Because to be honest, I could ask everybody if he was ugly or not, and you know, Cynthia's ass would chime in and be like, ew, no, he was so ugly because he don't wear a fucking skirt. Girl, bye. Anyways, next morning, my friends tell me everything that happened the night before, and I decided to text him and say thank you for saving my life, apparently, because that's what everybody keeps fucking calling it. So, you know, we talked over the phone for a little bit, and he sounded really hot over the phone, so I decided to text him to get his Instagram, because like I said earlier, I'm not trying to get catfished because someone sounds hot. And if you guys couldn't tell, this was very important to me because it has happened before. Not a good experience. Anyway, so I checked out his Instagram. Y'all, he he was actually hot as fuck. So after I found out that this man was a 10, I texted him and I was like, hey, you know, like I really do owe you for saving my life. Why don't you let me take you out to lunch? So of course he took me up on that offer. But before we went out to lunch, I decided that we would go to lunch on Thursday. So that gave me enough time to stalk the hell out of him and his family. Don't look at me like that. Don't fucking look at me like that, okay? This is normal. This has been normalized already, okay? 2022, and like I've said before, if you don't stalk people that you are about to meet in person for the first time, 1, that's like asking for a death sentence, okay? 2, you're the weird one. Besides, I had to make sure he didn't have a girlfriend or anything because that's also happened to me. But you know, after stalking his Instagram, his friend's Instagram, his family's Facebook, I actually found out a good amount of information. Maybe I took the whole stalking his social media thing a little bit too far when I went digging on his grandma's Facebook page. I will admit I was wrong for that one, okay? Anyway, so I found out he got 3 cats. Every Tuesday, him and his family go to Taco Tuesday and they go and see a movie together. He is really into hockey and he loves to cook. Okay, so listen, now that I knew all this shit about him, right? I could decide whether I wanted to pursue another date by talking about all this stuff that I know somehow, or I could decide that this is a one-time thing and just not talk about any of this shit, or specifically mention that I hate all of that. Like, I hate people with cats. I hate people who have families. I very much dislike tacos. Hockey's stupid. If you cook, then you're ugly. I don't know. That was like the plan that was inside my head. I probably need help. So, you know, Thursday rolls around and we met at this cute little beach restaurant and I didn't dress up at all. Like, this was a casual little lunch meetup, not date, lunch meetup. So what was I wearing? I was wearing an oversized t-shirt, some biker shorts, and a pair of Jordans. And I had no makeup on. My hair was extremely matted when I woke up this morning, so I just threw my hair up in a bun. Didn't bother to brush it or do it or anything like that. See, now him on the other hand, he took this very seriously. He had on a very nice polo shirt with some khaki shorts and some Sperry's, which I didn't even know they fucking made those anymore. Anyways, y'all get the gist. So, you know, I'm walking over casually wanting to go and drown myself in the ocean because I'm so embarrassed about how I'm dressed and how he took this way more serious than I did, because not only was he dressed nice, but whenever I was walking up to the table, he got up, gave me a hug, pulled out my chair, and then handed me a bouquet of flowers. Yup. Not only that, but he lied. He was like, you look really beautiful today. But you know what? I'll give him points. He was trying. Until about 10 minutes in, whenever I realized this just wasn't gonna work. He was low-key boring as fuck. And I got the ick right away because 1, he was too nice. And 2, when I would try to throw some playful sarcasm or attitude his way, he just wasn't having it. Like, he told me that he used to be super good at hockey and I was like, oh, okay, sure. And he's like, no, seriously, I was. Okay, chill. Oh, and I forgot to mention one more thing. He was like extremely sexist and racist. Yeah, like, our server was Latino and he was like, wow, I didn't know the cleaning crew also served the food here. Yeah. And then he was talking about his views on women. You know how women have it so easy in life, men have it really hard. He hates how women complain about everything, like about not being paid as much as a man when we can't do what men do. And you know, I'm not usually an expressive person, meaning facial expressions. Like, I'm usually able to just keep my composure when somebody says some shit that I don't like. But he could definitely see the disgust on my face after he made these comments, because he would awkwardly laugh it off like he was joking. But you can definitely tell by what kind of laugh it was that he didn't feel like he should have to do that. He meant those statements that he made. So yeah, I pretty much wasted $140 on lunch just for me to decide that I will never see this person ever again. I also wasted like 2.5 hours of my life. What do I look like? Because not only did he decide that he wanted lunch, he decided he wanted an appetizer, lunch, 2 sides, a margarita, and a fucking dessert. Like, he really just like wrapped up my bill. I only got an appetizer as a meal. Whatever. Like, he should have just not bought the flowers and went and bought himself a fucking snack before we came here. Yeah, don't get me wrong, he was super good looking, but if you don't have the right morals or personality to go with the looks, and you can't go 10 minutes without being a dick, you are fugly. And something is not right with you. You can stay the hell away from me. So the waiter comes and grabs the check, and while we're waiting for him to bring me back my card, and he goes, so I guess I'll decide what we're doing for our next date. See, this is exactly what I was hoping to avoid. This right here, right here. So there's just like a really awkward pause because I'm sitting there thinking what to say and how to put it nicely, even though I really should just throw my drink in his face and walk away. But you know, I'm like, oh wow, I wouldn't call this a date. This was not a date. And he goes, you know, you're like really funny for a girl. And then after this, he continues and he goes into, you're exactly my type, and I can just definitely tell that I'm yours too. Like, we are on the same fucking level, like we vibe, so we should just definitely call this a date. So now I have to bust out the bank guns. And I'm like, listen, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I really don't want you to. But I'm not looking for anything serious right now. Actually, for a while. I literally just wanted to say thank you for helping me that one night by taking you out to lunch. I'm really sorry if I gave off the wrong impression. So he's like, I mean, you know that you would be dead right now if I wasn't there, right? So then I decide to pull out the I'm working on myself spiel. I was like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, like right now just really isn't the best time. I'm taking time to work on me and focus on me. So that way when I do get into a relationship, I'm the best version of myself that I can give to that other person. And not only that, I really want to focus on school because I want to have my life together whenever that day comes. So then this freaking prick says, well, we can still hook up while you take time to focus on yourself, school, and work, you know, like you said. So I laugh and I'm like, well, that's not gonna work either. Nothing will. I shouldn't have to explain myself, but I want and need to be alone for a while. So after I say that, it is extremely awkward, and he made it known that he was upset by huffing and puffing, you know, crossing his arms, literally acting like my 6-year-old brother would. You know, he's slamming stuff, and I don't mean like getting up and freaking wailing chairs across the room. No, I mean like he was slamming his phone down on the table, and I could tell that he wasn't the person to red up the table after he was done eating, but just to make more noise, he's grabbing the glass plates and stacking them on top of each other and setting them down on the table so that way they'll make annoying ass noises and loud noises. By the way, a little side note that has literally nothing to do with the story. When I say red up, that pretty much means like half-ass cleanup. Like just get things out of the way and make it look nice. It's a Pittsburgh saying. So if I say red up the living room, it pretty much means put everything away. And yeah. Anyways, back to the story. So anyways, he runs off to the bathroom to do only God knows what. Probably literally asking God why I couldn't just be a pushover who will listen to anything a man says. But real quick, where the fuck is the waiter? Where is he? Where is the fucking waiter? Like, I want to leave before this man kidnaps me, technically adult naps me, but that's besides the fucking point. So, you know, he comes back from the bathroom very calm and collected, like a psychopath.